Hello and welcome to my podcast. I'm Naomi and this is NJ Knits, where I talk about my knitting. Welcome to everyone. I hope you've had a really nice time in your life. I don't know how long it's been. For me it's been a week and a half, 2 weeks maybe. Still in Morocco, different setup because that was a whole thing last time. I'm just sat on the bed, as you can tell from these pillows. I've got a host of finished objects to show you, and some whips, and then some plans. I'm very excited to do some casting on because I'm about ready to. I've finished a lot of things, which is pretty cool. So grab yourself a cup of something and sit down and enjoy the show. It's been a whole saga for me. Lots of things have happened, so I don't know what order to show you these finished objects in. I think a lot of them weren't whips before, but this one I know was my socks. So here they are, my lovely socks. Very pleased with them. I just got them back from the laundrette. I'm in a hotel room, so I had to take my washing to get laundered. I'm going to double check this isn't terrible because it looks like the light might be terrible. I'm not sure how excellent the lighting is, so I apologise, but this is the best we can do at the moment. So, as I was saying, just got these back from the laundrette. They smell very nice. I wore them, I think 3 times actually. I wore them to work in the desert and they were so perfect. They stayed up all day and kept my feet warm and cool. Bamboo is perfect for that. I really love it for that. If you want to know more details on how I knit the sock, check out my last video because I now don't remember because I finished them quite a while ago. But next time I make a pair of socks, I'm going to attempt to add a few stitches in before the heel just so that there's less of this like pinching. But these socks are great. I'm really excited. I've got more of this yarn I can make in a different colorway, so I'm going to make another pair of them because they are fabulous and I love how much they match. It makes me very, very happy. So actually let's see how they fit after being at the laundrette. They're bamboo and cotton and elastic blend, so I kind of thought they would be fine. Fit perfectly, look at that. I will admit, I think they are a bit tight around the heel. So I think it will be good to add a few more stitches around the heel. Because look, they feel a bit tight around the heel. But, oh, they're so comfy. I love them. I really, really, really love them. So that's my first finished object. My second finished object was a plan, I believe, in the last video, and the plan has come to fruition. So I had some bamboo and cotton, again bamboo and cotton, 50% bamboo, 50% cotton. I think I had cast this on in the last video. Viking yarn, and it was called Bjork. I don't know if it's out of date. I bought it in a charity shop in Norway last summer. So I made a scarf number 1, which has been amazing. I've been wearing these almost constantly to work. I did 2 colorways, which I talked about in the last video. I've thrown away the labels now, so check that. This, originally I was hacking it and the pattern, and then I stopped hacking the pattern because I didn't like it. There's a mistake there, I don't know what happened. We lost a yarn over. That's alright. So to do it stripy, meant that I couldn't really carry the yarn, which is what I usually do if I do stripes. I like carry the other colour along the length of the other colour, because I'm lazy and I don't like weaving in ends. But it turned out, because of the way the pattern works, that the bits I wanted to be darker coloured was an uneven number of rows, so I would finish the dark on a different side than where I had finished the white, so I couldn't pick up the white again, so I had to cut this and weave in all my ends, which is very annoying. Also because it didn't really work to weave them in as I went, because it's a scarf, so I really just had to actually weave them in afterwards. But I did a fairly good job. Because it's bamboo, it doesn't do a great job of just like disappearing when you weave it in, because it's just really silky and not at all bouncy, elasticy. It's very just like rope, so it doesn't really like just mesh in with the other fibres and kind of hide itself when you weave it in. But this fabric, I used 4.5mm needles, and the bamboo is like sport weight, the yarn I used. So it's quite a loose gauge, but it's perfect for spring, summer. It's just floppy and light, and I wear it, just do a little double knot in the back, and I wear it like this. And it's really nice. It keeps me, it really is quite cold here a lot of the time, especially in the shade or in the morning or in the evening, and this is so nice. It just keeps me warm, but it's really light and doesn't like get in the way of anything, and doesn't like feel too bunchy if I'm wearing like a jacket or a jumper on top of it. It's just perfection. I'm so happy with this. So I was so happy with it, and when I finished I had quite a bit extra. I did a few less repeats than the pattern called for, because I thought it was enough. I think the pattern calls for maybe 7, but I did 5. But I just thought that was all I wanted, so that was fine. It was probably because my gauge was different that it ended up... I didn't block it. I don't really think I will, unless it gets really dirty, and then I'll wash it. Because it's great, it's lovely. I love the pattern, it's really easy, and the only thing I didn't like about the project was how many ends I had, because I hate knitting with ends. It just like makes the process less enjoyable when there's ends flopping about as I'm knitting. Just a little quirk. So that's the first one I made. The second one, I had extra, but it was obviously I'd used much more of the white, so I just reversed it, and I did a beige one with little white bits, and I love this one as well. I've worn this one loads also. It's just great. With this, I decided I would try, instead of weaving in the ends, because that didn't really make them disappear very well, like I said. I mean, they're pretty well woven in, but like there's still bits that like are out, and I just don't think I could trim it, but I imagine just it would come out again and there'd be another little piece coming out. So I decided on the second one to do magic knot and really trim it tight, which is what I did. And this is the back side of it. It's a lot cleaner, I think, and also the magic knot, if the ends were annoying me, I could just then cut them, which I did at a certain point in the project. So these have been basically my socks, because they're really small, so they've been my walking around projects, and like walking around in the hotel and going to breakfast and stuff. But yeah, they're really nice, they're cozy, and when it gets hot out, I actually forget to take them off, because they don't feel like overheaty. They just sit there, and they don't heat me. They don't necessarily cool me, I wouldn't say. They would if I put like water on them, but they're not hot, so they keep me warm when it's cold, and then once it gets hot in the day, most of the time I just leave it on because I don't really notice it, and it's just there, and it's really nice and soft. I had intended for these to be bandanas to wear, like to keep the hair out of my, like off the back of my neck if it was really hot, but I've been told that they look a little bit on the babushka side. Not that looking like a babushka is a bad thing, you know, but I was told it was a bit shabat shaboom. And probably take that out. My friend said that. I am Jewish, so I'm allowed to say shabat shaboom. Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily quite the right look. Yeah, so bandana look, it's a maybe. I did wear it as a bandana all day one day. I think it's kind of cuter this way, where you're not lifting the hair up, where you just kind of like tying it like this hair like here and here. I feel like that's a little bit more like 70s and kind of cute, but then it defeats the actual purpose, which is to keep the hair off the back of my neck if I'm hot. To be fair, I actually haven't been that hot lately, like at all here, so anyway, that's the story about these scarf number ones. They're really cute, stripy. I like them a lot. In these very, very neutral, relaxed colours, which is super nice. So Bamboo Central over here. And next, this is the tragedy of the day. This is a finished object. It is my Egwene cardigan. Now, there's a few things that went wrong with this cardigan. Firstly, the sleeves are a bit tight, which is fine. I did block it and tried to make them looser, and then they're not. Secondly, I put the sleeves in, it's a bottom-up jumper, so it's a cardigan, it's worked bottom up, and you do the sleeves bottom up as well, and then you connect them here, and then you do everything together. I connected the sleeves in the wrong way around. This is the increases for the sleeves, and that should be at the underarm where you can't really see it, and I put it right at the top. And that is because I didn't listen to the pattern when it said to bind off and then to connect the and then you were supposed to bind off these stitches at the underarm, and I thought I could just leave them free and then graft them so that it wasn't like two bound off bits that was sewn together, if that makes sense. And then I forgot that was the reason why I never bound off, and then I didn't have any like reference for which side was the side that needed to go at the underarm and which side didn't, so I just did it randomly. That is my story. Does that make any sense? I was meant to bind off at the underarm, and then I would have done that here, and then I would have known that that was the underarm, but because I didn't bind off at the underarm, I just put it on randomly. So I did that, but I also did it on the other side, so that's at least kind of a good thing, because they're at least like the same. Yeah. So the other thing that I did was I put on these buttons, which are these vintage buttons. I'll show you them on the... My partner helped me pick them out. I had originally got them for my Maud tee, but they were too big, I think. They are chunky buttons. They're quite pretty, but they're very chunky. And, as it turns out, they bleed. you can barely tell the difference in the colour, like on here, but also just in real life, you can barely tell the difference. But these babies bled all over my cardigan. I put the buttons on for some strange reason better known to the universe before I blocked it, and then I blocked it. And when I blocked it, I soaked it, but then I forgot about it, and I left it for like 2 hours soaking. And when it came out, it was like someone had like just smeared their because I also this is even stupider. Not only did I block it, and this is the button band where they were attached. Had I just left it like this when I washed it and blocked it, it would have been slightly okay, because this would have been the bit that you don't see when you button it up. But no, I had to actually have them buttoned up when I put it in to wash. Why'd I put the buttons on? Don't know. Why'd I button it up? Even more don't know. I think it's just that completist in me that just wanted it fully done. And it was just so stupid. I knew that I shouldn't put buttons on before blocking it. I knew that. Anyway, all of these things combined to mean that I covered this, and it looked like someone had put lipstick all over it, and it was terrible. And then I did try washing it with a color run. I didn't do it. A very, very kind colleague of mine did it for me. And this is how it's turned out. It's still there. And then my other problem with this cardigan is that it has no short rows, and I don't like the way it fits with no short rows. So overall, it's not a great success. I'll show you what it looks like. So here it is. The sleeves are too tight for me. When I finished this and tried it on, I thought, I'm not keeping this. I didn't like it. I didn't like the way it fit. I don't like how far it goes out here because there's no short rows. If you pull it so that it like sits on my shoulders the way I want it to, kind of like that, it looks like that. If you do it the way it's meant to be done, like this, it's okay, but that's kind of what it's meant to look like. So I don't like it. I don't like the way this like seems to kind of come forward, and then when you like have it off, it's very much like that, which makes sense, I guess. Just a load of people passing by the window just looking at me looking crazy and being like talking to a computer with this. So the overall story here is I don't like my Egwene cardigan. I'm not going to do another one. I was originally going to do another one. I'm not going to because I don't like the way it fits on me. So my plan is to give it away, but this stupid button colour situation makes me sad. So I don't know. I don't really want to dye it. Maybe I should just unravel the whole thing. I don't really want to do that either. I have enough yarn left over to make a whole nother item, like a whole nother cardigan in this yarn. I'd rather like give this away to someone who would fit better. I think it would fit someone better who's smaller than me. I'd rather give it away, but at the same time it just fits weirdly. Like, I don't know if this would be nice on someone else or if they would like it. So I'm not always horrendously bothered by whether someone's going to like it, something that I give them, but I don't know. So this was a big old bleep. I wasn't as devastated when I dyed this with the buttons precisely because of the fact that when I made it, I was like, when I tried it on, I was like, I don't really like this. I don't like how it fits. I loved the idea of a V-neck cardi, but in a way, it's kind of weird. It's kind of like, I don't know, part of what I like about a cardi is this bit. And you don't have that when you have a V-neck. And then also, I love wearing cardis open, and I think with a V-neck, it's like, the cardi just goes wee. I guess all cardis do that when you have it open, but I don't know. The story is that I don't like it. Something's going to happen to it. So that is the story. Now, my next whip I shall show you is a very small whip. And it's with a very small amount of yarn, and it's very small amount of work has been put into it because I just started it today. But I had a tiny bit left of this Bjork yarn, and I'm making a scrunchie with it. We'll see how big the scrunchie is, but you know, scrunchies don't have to be any specific width. So yeah, I'm just making a scrunchie. It's the same as how I've made scrunchies in the past. I just kind of made up, just going around, this time I put a lot more stitches. It's more like 60 or so. And I'll just knit until I have enough yarn to do a grafted bind off, and I will do a grafted bind off with the elastic band inside, which is a little bit fiddly, but it's fine. And then you've finished and you've got a scrunchie, which is quite fun. So this one will be a matching scrunchie with my scarf number 1 out of these tiny little scraps. And I'm going to do with the white the scarf number 1 bit with the lace and stuff as well, which will be fun. Then my final project to show you is, one moment. I want to try this on because I need to make a decision about whether I'm finished with it or not, with the body. So I thought I would just try it on with you. I do have my knitting barber cords with me, but I'm doing my old way of doing it for 2 reasons. Mostly because it's really big needles and the knitting barber cords aren't perfectly reliable on big needles. So I'm attaching this old broken Knit Pro cord that I just keep purely for this purpose. So let me show you, big reveal time. I'm a little bit low-key today. I think it's because I am in the winter of my cycle, as it were, so I'm a bit more like intrinsic and within myself, and a bit less like outgoing, I guess. So I'm a bit quieter, a bit more withdrawn, and that's perfectly fine. It's okay to be different ways at different times. That's fine with me, at least. I hope it's fine with you. But here's the big reveal. Ready? Let me check that this is the back and that's the front. No, that's the back. This is the front. My ranunculus! I'm so excited to finally be making one that I think I will actually wear. First one I made for myself with Malabrigo lace weight yarn. And for whatever reason, it was just tiny. And it was too small. And I gave it to my friend's 2-year-old child. And then my friend loved it. So I made another one with 1 1/3 skeins of Filcolana arvetta. And that one was like the perfect size. So this I'm making with, I think I showed this to you last episode as a plan. It's one of them that I actually did. This is what's left. And I plan to make it long sleeve. We'll see how long the sleeves get to be. This is heavy lace from Ancient Arts Yarns, and it's called Indulgence. 65% silk, 35% linen, and the colourway is French lilac, which I think it does look a lot like lilac or lavender. I'm trying to put this back in. It's 700 meters and it's 113 grams. So I was hoping that would be enough for a long sleeve ranunculus. And this is still quite a bit that's left here that I have, quite a bit still. And I think I've finished the body. So I wanted to try it on with you to see if I think it's long enough. I did 6mm needles and then 6.5mm needles for this. It's really like light and see-through. It's not mohair, so it's quite holey because it doesn't really fill up the holes, because obviously 6mm needles with lace weight yarn. But I quite like it. It was my idea, that was what I wanted basically, was something really light, and I think this is the perfect length, actually. It's, for me, like, I think I've done about, I did quite a bit more than the pattern called for here before I started the ribbing, and now I think I'm doing a bit less on the ribbing. I think the pattern is essentially wanting you to make it about this short. And for me, I do like cropped things, but I like them to be like cropped where they're just barely covering a waistline, kind of a thing. So to me, this is my definition of cropped. It's not really cropped, because obviously this is a crop top, that's very cropped, but it's where I like a jumper to be. So I'm very happy. I think I am done with the body. I will cast off when we finish. Very excited. This is silk and linen, and it's amazing. I love it. And I did the small neckline version, and I did the first size because I was using the big needles. I was hoping it would give me the right amount of like flop, but not horrendous quantity of flop. And it has, which is great, because the last time I made it in lace weight using the exact same needles, it was tiny. I don't know what happened. But who knows? So I'm very excited. I'm going to do the sleeves the way they are in the pattern, I think, and I'm hoping for like this long, might even get this long, who knows? We'll have to see. I guess I think I will probably do them 2 at a time with the inside and the outside bit of the yarn, which will be a tiny bit of a faff, but it'll be fine. Yeah, I've done 2 at a time before. Each time I do this pattern, I get a bit better at at getting this right. I did do something wrong with here. You can see these are correct. These longer ones, and then these are incorrect, and then they go back to being correct again. But that's kind of the beauty of a ranunculus, is that it's sort of like, yeah, it's just some stuff. The first one I made, it wasn't even a diamond, like this was over here. It was like 3 with 1 over here, and that looked quite cool. I was into it. Always going to be not obstructed by perfection over here in a big way. But yeah, it's also nice to do it the way it's supposed to be done. I'm not 100% on this colour. There was a lot of lilac going on last summer and I got excited about it. It's not really a colour that I gravitate towards myself in my own clothing, but it's not a colour I'm opposed to, so I'm excited to have this in my wardrobe and wear it. More long sleeve shirts for me, please. So, that is not all my whips. Of course not. Because we have the Welcome to the Jungle. The famous Welcome to the Jungle. I feel like people love seeing my progress on this, and sadly it's not been great, but I have got my mojo back on it, so I'm back on it. It's just, it hasn't been a lot of time. So here it is. Those little swirls are starting to come out. I said when I first started this, I told you that my partner picked out the colours. A lot of people have complimented me on the colours, and it's not me. It's definitely my partner who chose them. I'm a little bit like, really? Do these colours kind of go with one another? These and these? I mean, they don't. The point of this isn't for them to go together. You know, it's a very contrasty kind of a jumper, but I am a bit iffy on it, but I'm trusting the process, and I think it will come out nicely. So yeah, you can see the swirls. The low contrast is visible, but very low contrast. And here's the other side. So it's just the very beginning of the swirls, but we are getting there, and I'm finding it easier. And someone today on Instagram asked me to time my row, and I thought, yeah, actually that's a good idea, because it feels like I'm going a bit faster on it now, but also I've still been increasing stitches, so I'm not even to the arms yet. I'm still increasing, so I think I have almost this amount again to go before I lose the arms. So it's slowing down because I'm adding stitches every other row still, but it's speeding up because I'm getting more used to it. And I do think that the swirl pattern is quicker than this pattern. It is easier, even though I've made it harder by making it hard to see, because if it was easy to see, it would be like quick, but it's hard to see. Because I wouldn't have to count if it was easy to see, because I would just know like, oh, one more, but I don't fully trust that it's like, I can see that it's one more, so I still count. But hey ho. So that's the Welcome to the Jungle. Probably slightly disappointing. Welcome to the Jungle on a ranunculus. Very nice. So I need to make some plans, because this weekend I think I'm going to be in a car for 10 hours. Total. So, oh my goodness. Okay, so it's acquisitions time. I know I had that one episode where I didn't have acquisitions, and that was amazing. But now I've got acquisitions again. But this is like phenomenal acquisitions. I've got some footage that I'll show you. Where's my t-shirt? I'm sitting on it. I've got some footage that I'll show you, and so two weekends ago. Yes, 2 weekends ago. Last weekend I went climbing. Last weekend I worked crazily on the Thursday to Friday to Saturday. Saturday was a write-off. I did nothing. And Sunday I went climbing. But the weekend before that I went also climbing, but the day on the Saturday I went to a women's cooperative in the desert in Morocco, where essentially women from all neighbouring villages make rugs, and I think just rugs basically, and like table runners and things, but they weave So they weave wool mostly, and they bring them to this cooperative where their name is like put on a tag, and the people at the cooperative sell the rugs and then give the women who've made them the money. And the cooperative also houses like older widows who don't have any family, and they work on rugs in the actual house. So you go into this house, you look at all the rugs, there's a couple of guys that will like bargain with you for them, and then you can also meet the women and see the rugs that they're working on. So I got a couple of rugs. I can't show you any pictures, and they're like wrapped up. I forgot to take pictures of them. It's very bad of me. And they're wrapped up really nicely, so I'm not going to unwrap them. But I got one rug that was made by a nomadic woman, and that was with natural wool of black and like brownish and white, and it's very beautiful. It's also got like, you know how rugs generally have like stuff on each end? It's like the wool that's made, it's the lines. There's lots of terminology I'm not using here, but they have them on two ends. Well, this rug has them on all four ends, which is quite cool. I think it must be because they didn't use the same thread and like pass it back and forth. They just used a single thread for each line, because it's basically like that. And it's gorgeous. It's really like cool, like geometrical monochrome. And then the other rug is red, which is not something I was initially going for, but it has some really interesting, lovely Berber symbols, like one for the tree of paradise, one for freedom, one for, I think there's one for hope, and then there's also one for woman without a man, which is an uncommon symbol. Normally the symbol for woman is woven in with the symbol for man, but this one is just woman by itself. How strange. So people have been joking that I found the only gay rug in Morocco. But anyway, it's so I'll show you the other things I got from. So I met this woman, and she showed me a little bit of spinning, and they spin here. They mostly spin using, it looks like a drop spindle, but it doesn't have the hook, and they just spin it on the ground in a little dish, and it is really hard to do. Like, I'm quite good at drop spindling, but it is really hard to do it this way. I found it almost impossible. I really tried, but it was so hard. And also the weaving, they don't necessarily use the thing to make the strings go apart. They just like grab each string with their fingers and like put the wool through it, which I found interesting. So here's what I got in this little bag. She gave me, just something flew out of that, and I got like the fear that it was a moth, but it wasn't. I think it was a mosquito. So she gave me one of her spindles, and it's got some of the wool that she spun on it, and it's also set up in the way that you can use it for drop spindling. So this spindle is normally done like this, but what she's done with the wool, here it is. What she has done is she's passed the wool down here, around here, back up the other side, and then around here. And then it's basically a drop spindle, and you can spin it like that, and then you'd have to do that, take it all off, wind the spun wool, do it again, and you've got it again for more spinning. Whoop. I'm really good at drop spindling, and then just drops it. That's why I'm good, because I drop it. Okay, so this is like the most wonderful, wonderful, wonderful gift one could ever imagine. And she also gave me some fibre to spin. So that was phenomenal. They hand card the fibre. So she carded me a little bit of fibre to spin it. And I was just so over the moon about it. And then we went around and we looked at where they dye the yarn for the wool for the carpets, and I'll show you the different colours that she got. So this is natural wool. It's really sort of scratchy. This is with pomegranate, this colour, pomegranate skin. It is showing up more yellow. It's definitely yellow, but it's showing up more like bright yellow. This is a little bit more orangey yellow in true life. This is done with saffron, and this is just like the brightest orange. I was really sad because she was trying to get it off the hanks and she just kept like ripping it, and I was like, no, don't rip it. But I'm sure it can spit splice really easily because it's very, very rustic. And then this was done with eucalyptus, this colour, which is a very deep forest green. It's showing up pretty much the same as it is in real life. And then this forgotten what this one was. I can't remember. And then I also got some scraps from like thrown away rugs from someone else who offered it to me as I was leaving. So this is a blue. I think this is maybe done with indigo, but this is scraps off of a woven piece. So everything is basically that long. And I got really excited at first because I wound up two of the other scraps from the other person, not from the woman that I met. I thought, oh, if I marled it, I could do it with all those short bits and I could make something. And I've been doing that. I started like a really thick sock, and the marling looks okay. And I've basically just been adding the new colour on and not doing anything, just like adding it in. Basically, I just don't find it very pleasurable to just constantly be adding in a super short, tiny piece of yarn. And it wouldn't be that bad if I had one that was like a full length, which I do currently. Like I have been doing it with this one, which is basically just all one length, or it's much longer pieces. But I don't have enough to do a whole sock with this, so I would have to go back to marling with other colours. So I think I might just be frogging this because I don't find it very pleasurable. It's sad because this is lovely like rustic yarn, but it's all literally scraps. I mean, it was given to me from an actual scrap basket, like this, and it took me about 2 hours to like get it from this into a bowl. But this I'm definitely going to make into something lovely, because this is just actual yarn. Not just like tiny short scraps, and some of it is broken, but I should be able to just reattach it, I hope. So I've got no idea what I'm going to do with that. I've got no idea how much I have, and most likely going to just take it back home with me as is. I don't know if I'm going to take the scraps back home with me, but we shall see. The experience was really lovely. It was really nice, and it was nice to buy something and know that it was going to someone who made it. And I think I got the Berber rug for like €95, and they're smallish rugs, and the Nomad rug for €95, and then the other rug for €30. I mean, that's just translated from dirhams, which is the currency in Morocco. So yeah. So I need to start thinking about what I want to take with me on my long car ride this weekend. I think it's all going to be stuff from this bag. And I'm going to start working on my socks that I wrote out the pattern for myself. And 100 meters, that's not enough for a sock, is it? Or is it? Maybe just. I was trying to decide because I've got 3 balls of this. I was trying to decide if I wanted to try and do a sock, one ball for one sock, and then use the other ball for something else. But we'll just have to see. I'm doing them toe up so they can. My idea for this pattern, this is DK yarn, and it's got sparkle in it, and so I want to have a pair of socks with a pico edge. I just thought that would be so cute, and also I can hide elastic inside of that folded over bit, because this is essentially, it's a really lovely lush blend. It's 48% cotton, 39% bamboo, 10% silk, and 3% polyester, which is the sparkle. So I want to make some socks with it, some cute sparkly socks. So I think I'll take these with me because I've written out the pattern for myself, so I'm all excited to try it out. And then I think I will take this with me because I think I've finally decided a t-shirt pattern that I want to use, that I want to make with this. And this is, again, mulberry linen. So it's 50% alpaca, 25% mulberry silk, 25% linen. So it's the drapiest of drapies. And I think it will be really lush and really nice and warm as well, for something to wear as a little t-shirt. I'll show you the pattern that I think I've chosen for it. It's been like the longest pattern saga I've ever had, is choosing something for this yarn. I think I just really love the colour, and it's been literally since last summer of me just looking at different patterns and thinking of different things to make with this yarn. I have about 500 meters of it, so it's not a huge amount to play with. But yes, I keep looking at that fingering weight fade, and it's just not the time yet, which is fine. I've got plenty of yarn with me. It's not quite the time. I also need some distance from that cotton linen that I made the cardigan out of, because I'm just over it, over the whole situation. So yeah, that is me. That's my plans for the future. And it's gotten completely dark now, so I'm really sorry about the sort of like quality. I hope you enjoyed, and please do leave a comment if you enjoyed. I love reading them. They break up my day. And give me a shout over on Instagram if you like. My Instagram is Naomi njknits, and my Gmail is the same as my Ravelry account, which is njknitspodcast. So give me a shout on any of those forums if you would like to. And yes, I have been thinking about doing I've forgotten what it's called, a Discord server, and I've decided I want to do it. I just need to remember to actually do it. So when I'm going to remember, and then I'm going to do it, and then I'll tell you all about it. So that's the plan. High five. Yes. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me, and I hope you have a really nice time. And if you don't, I hope that you get through it and stay strong, fearlessly knit on, don't be obstructed by perfection. And I'm sending you lots of positive energy. Yeah. All right. See you later.